In this video, we are going to talk about how to solve equations with radicals. So let's first look at these steps that I've outlined. So first we want to isolate the radicals. So just like we want to isolate the variable, or when we want to isolate the square term, first we want to isolate the radical. Then we want to raise each side of the equation to the radical index root. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. So if it's a square root problem, that means I want to raise it to the second power. If it's a cube root, that means I want to raise it to the third power. If it's a fourth root, that means I want to raise it to the fourth power, so on and so forth. So whatever the little, index is here, and again, remember with square root, there's technically no number there, but we know that it's a square root, so we know it's a 2. Then we want to solve for the variable, so just use our general solving skills after that. And then we need to check our answers because there's going to be extraneous solutions, meaning there's going to be solutions that don't work. So we got to make sure that we're checking our solutions. All right, so let's look at number 1. So in number 1, I have a square root. So keep in mind that means our index here is a 2. Even though we don't write it, our principal square root has an index of 2. So to get rid of a square root, that means I'm going to square both sides. So squaring a square root is going to leave me with just x, and then 7 squared is going to be 49. And so this is my solution. Now another way to think about this problem, let me go backwards, is that the square root of x is the same as x to the 1/2 power. So I can rewrite this and think about this as x to the 1/2 power equals 7. Now, how would I get rid of a 1/2 power? Well, I'm going to raise it to the reciprocal power. So remember, our reciprocal is the flip of our fraction. So if I have 1 over 2, my reciprocal will be 2 over 1. And I got to do that to both sides. So what that's going to do is, remember when we have fractions, we multiply the tops and the bottoms. So I'd have x of 2 over 2, which would be x to the first, which would be x. On this side, I'm going to have 7 to the 2 over 1 power, which is the same as the 7 to the second power, which would be 49. So keeping in mind that we got to use the idea that our radicals and our rational exponents are really the same thing. So now let's check our answer. So if I have the square root of x equals 7, does the square root of 49 equal 7? Yes, that's true. So this solution or this solution are the same. Both work. All right, so let's talk about this guy. So again, we have a square root. Now, there's two ways to think about this problem. So I have a square root, so that means I'm going to raise both sides to the second power. So a square root raised to the second power leaves me with just x, and -2 squared is +4. So now if I'm going to check my solution, I would have the square root of 4 equals -2. Well, that's not true. The square root of 4 would equal 2. So this problem actually has no solution. Now, if you went through and solved it like that, that's totally fine. But something else to keep in mind is that the square root of a variable can never equal a negative number. It's not possible. Now, the cubed root of a variable can equal a negative number. So anytime it's an odd root, it can equal a negative number. If it's an even root, then it cannot equal a negative number. So in this case, this one has no solution. All right, let's take a look at example 3. So now example 3, I have quite a few terms, but I have this whole radical term. So again, if we go back to step 1, it says we want to isolate the radical. So I want to isolate this part I highlighted in blue, the 3x minus 8 that's underneath the radical. So to get that alone, I'm going to move the 1. So I'm going to have the square root of 3x minus 8 is going to equal 2. Now that my radical is alone, I need to figure out which power I'm going to raise it to. So again, this is a square root, so I know that my index is 2. So that means what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this to the second power because that'll get rid of the root, because squared is the opposite of the square root. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So on the left side, if I'm squaring that square root, I'm going to end up with just what's under the square root, which is 3x minus 8. On the other side, 2 squared is going to give me 4. And now I can just finish solving this problem like I normally would. So I'm going to want to get x alone, so I'm going to add 8. Divide by 3, and I'm going to get that x equals 4. All right, but remember, we have to check our solutions because there could be extraneous solutions. So I'm going to have the square root of 3 times 4 minus 8 plus 1 equals 3. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. And 2 plus 1 would equal 3. So good, my solution does work. Let's try a similar example over here. So again, I'm going to have a square root, and my square root on this side is alone because this whole side is square rooted. The whole side is square rooted. So since it's alone, I can just go ahead and think about, all right, I know this is a squared, so that means I'm going to square this side to get rid of the square root. But again, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So on this left side, since I'm squaring the square root, I'm just going to be left with what's underneath the square root. On this side, x squared is just going to be x squared. Now, this is a quadratic equation. And remember, when we have a quadratic, meaning I have an x squared, plus in this case, I have a trinomial because I have 1, 2, 3 different terms. I want to set my equation equal to 0. So to get it equal to 0, I'm going to minus this x squared over. Now keeping in mind, minus this x squared over, I'm really minusing a 1x squared. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have 2x squared minus 1x squared is going to leave me with 1 or just x squared. So now when I have 3 terms, we always think about what multiplies to c and adds to b. So remember, when I have 3 terms, that's always what multiplies to your constant and adds to your middle. So I want to find 2 numbers that multiply to negative 12, but add to negative 4. And so when I think about it, I think it's going to be 2 and negative 6. So positive 2 and negative 6. Now remember, to solve these, we can either take the opposite, or again, we just set them each equal to 0. So I would get one of my solutions is negative 2. And my other solution is 6. Now remember, we have to check these solutions. So first I'm going to check negative 2. So I'm going to plug it back into the original equation, which was the square root of 2x squared, so 2 times negative 2 squared, minus 4 times negative 2, minus 12, and that's supposed to equal the x, which is negative 2. So I had to plug in negative 2 in for this x, and this x, again, into the original equation, so the one that looks like this before I did anything. All right, so let's do this. So I can type this whole thing in my calculator, but if you want to do it in parts, I'm going to have 4 times 2 is 8, plus 8 minus 12. So this would be 16 minus 12, which would be 4, and the square root of 4 does not equal negative 2, so negative 2 is not going to work. All right, let's check 6. So 2 times 6 squared minus 4 times 6 minus 12 is supposed to equal 6. So 6 squared is 36 times 2 is 72 minus 24 minus 12. So 72 minus 24 is 48. Minus 12 would equal the square root of 36, which does equal 6. So 6 is the only solution out of these two that'll work. So make sure, again, we are checking our solutions because they will not always work. All right, let's look at a couple others. So now we're looking at something with a cube root, but again, I still want to get this cube root of x alone. So the first thing I'm going to do is to get the cube root of x alone is I'm going to add 2. So I'm going to have the cube root of x equals 2. Now, this is a cube root, so that means I need to raise both sides to the 3rd power, because whatever that index is what power I need to raise that side to. So raising the cubed root of x to the 3rd power is going to leave me with just x, and 2 to the 3rd power is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. All right, so then let's check. I have the cubed root of x minus 2 equals 0. Well, in this case, x equals 8, so the cubed root of 8 minus 2 equals 0. The cubed root of 8 is 2. 2 minus 2 does equal 0. So 8 is my solution. All right, let's look at a similar one, but one that has a few more steps. So again, I want to get this cubed root of x alone, and that needs to be totally alone before I can do anything. So I need to get rid of this negative 24, and I need to get rid of this 8. So I'm going to do the negative 24 first by adding 24. Remember, we always add or subtract first. So I'm going to have 8 times the cubed root of x equals 24. Now 8 is multiplied by this cubed root of x because they're right next to each other. So to get rid of something that's multiplied, I'm going to divide. And so I'm going to have the cubed root of x equals 3. Now again, I have the cubed root. So since I have the cubed root, that means I have to raise this side to the third power to get rid of the cubed root. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So x is going to equal, well, 3 cubed would be 27. All right, so let's check this. 8 times the cubed root of x minus 24 would equal 0. So I'm going to have 8 times the cubed root of 27 minus 24 equals 0. So the first thing I want to do is this cubed root of 27. So that's going to be 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 minus 24 would give me 0. So this solution does work. All right, let's look at another situation. Now we got 2 radicals. So when we have 2 radicals, let me rewrite that. When we have 2 radicals, we want 1 on each side. So since I have minus the square root of 3x plus 2, I'm going to add the square root of 3x plus 2 to move it to the other side. Sorry, not plus 2. Minus 2. The inside's going to stay the same. I'm just changing the sign of what's in front of it since it's negative. All right, so I have the square root of x equals, this is going to cancel now because I did have a negative and a positive. And on this side, 0 plus a square root is just going to equal the square root of 3x minus 2. Now, these are square roots, so keep in mind that means that our index is 2. So that means I need to square this side and square this side to get rid of that square root. So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 3x minus 2 is just 3x minus 2. So now I have an equation I can solve. So now I have variables on both sides, so since my x is alone on the left side, I'm going to minus my 3x to join this x. Keeping in mind this is a 1x, so I'm going to have negative 2x equals negative 2. Divide by negative 2, and I'm going to get that x equals 1. But don't forget I need to check. So let's check, and I'm going to check it with my original equation. So again, if I go back and I erase all this stuff, this is my original equation right here. So I want to check it with this guy. So that's the square root of x minus the square root of 3x minus 2, and it needs to equal 0. So the square root of 1 minus the square root of 3 times 1 minus 2 would equal 0. Square root of 1 is 1. This is 3 minus 2, which is going to be 1. So the square root of 1 minus the square root of 1 is 0. So 1 is my solution. All right, similarly in number 8, I have the cube root and the cube root, but I have 2 radicals, so I want to move 1 on each side. So I have a negative, so I'm going to add 3x plus the cube root of 3x plus 2 to both sides. Zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to have the cubed root of x equals, well again I have negative cube root of 3x plus 2 plus the cube root of 3x plus 2, so those are going to cancel. So I'm going to have the cube root of 3x plus 2. Now my index is a 3 for both of these. So what that means is I'm going to raise both sides to the third power, or cube both sides. So when you cube a cube root, you get what's just in the root, which is x. Same here, cube a cube root, I'm going to get 3x plus 2. So now I need to solve this again. So my x is already alone on the left, so I'm going to minus my 3x to this 1x to get negative 2x. Divide by negative 2, and I'm going to get x equals negative 1. But I need to check to make sure that this solution is going to work. So again, I want to use my original equation. So this guy up here, this original equation. So the cubed root of x minus the cube root of 3x plus 2 needs to equal 0. So now I'm going to plug in negative 1. So the cubed root of negative 1 minus the cubed root of 3 times negative 1 plus 2 needs to equal 0. So the cubed root of negative 1 is negative 1. Remember, we can take the cube root of a negative number. We can take the cube root of anything that has an odd index. So that 3 means I can take the cube root of a negative. If it's even, it's not possible. And then this would be no solution. Minus the cubed root of, well, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So again, I'm going to have the cubed root of negative 1. So I'm going to have negative 1 minus, well, the cubed root of negative 1 is negative 1. So negative 1 minus a negative 1 means I really have negative 1 plus 1, which would equal 0. So this is the solution.